Hello everyone, welcome back to the TJOmega channel. I don't know what day it is because this is pre-recorded and I'm not sure what order I'm going to post the videos in, but welcome! The daily grind continues. So today we are looking at another alternative to Transformers, and this one is so obvious I honestly thought I had done this already. Like, I searched my channel multiple times and it didn't come up, so I'm presuming I'm just dumb. And I've been enjoying this toy line for a few years now without really having addressed it. We did a giveaway for one, but I'm not sure I've ever really just sat down and talked about this one. So yeah, via Patreon request, someone actually asked me to do a video based on the 52 Toys toy line, BeastBOX. So we're going to do that today, just to give myself just to check one more off the box. So, if you need an alternative to Transformers, something that plays a little bit differently, and you're unaware of this series, like, this has actually been around for a while, you should all be aware of this series by now. But just in case you're not, let us actually look into it in depth. So, the whole idea is that you have this little cube, they all turn into cubes, and you transform it into some kind of beast. Pretty simple concept, right? What you're looking at is Dio. This is the very first one that 52 Toys released, and it's just a cute little raptor guy. This is actually smaller than their releases would eventually end up being. Most of them are 2x2x2 cubes. But this one is just a little bit smaller to start off with. And you can kind of see in the cube mode how, yeah, like, you can pretty much see where everything is supposed to go. It's not that complex of a figure. So, that's their first attempt. Here's a more recent example. Dio grew up. Yes, so BeastBOX has gotten a lot more complicated. They've gotten a lot more intensive with their engineering. And it does make them more interesting toys and opens up a lot more options. Now, I'm going to give you a few more examples of just how far the engineering has come since this toy line started, because I do find it genuinely impressive. So for instance, and you'll excuse me if I can't for the life of me remember the names of these. I will be referring to them by the animal they present. I am sorry for my ignorance and my poor memory with names. But as another example of the subtle, the humble roots of this toy line, here's the gorilla they did. Again, one of their originals. You can see in the cube mode where everything pretty much is. There's the head, there's the chest, there's the big gorilla fist, etc., etc. Nothing overly complex. They haven't done a brand new gorilla figure, however, they've done a few other mammals I find impressive, like the boar. Take a look at that. And the part of me that's impressed by what the boar is accomplishing here in his engineering is, like, not only looking very, like, detailed and very cool, but also being able to get this round, bulbous shape to get that wild pig look to him out of a box. And I think that's really cool. I think this scratches the itch I have with, like, cassette bots, like cassette figures for Transformers, in that I'm fascinated by how many things you can get from the exact same rudimentary shape. You know, that's a really impressive thing to me, to keep coming up with these things. Here's a Triceratops they did early in their runs. Dinosaurs, for a hot minute, really were the bread and butter of this series. Like, you even had something more, dinosaur-like in the logo, which I think that logo has way more personality than the one we started this video with. But they've expanded since then, so now there's like a more unified logo style for everything. Point being, this Triceratops also glows up really, really nice. I mean, look, we've gotten rid of a lot of the boxy shape to it. It's just it looks like a Zoid. Like, the more involved and complex ones look like Zoids. You know, they are very, very detailed mechanical beasts, and it's really, really cool to see. Again, it's great to see the evolution of how these toys work. So next up, I'm going to show you a bunch that I actually have. It's not all of them, but it's a little sample of the ones that I have, the ones that I can talk about. Like one that I can remember the name of, Echo Blaster. I don't know why I liked the look of the parrot so much. I just did. Oh, and for those worried about the clear plastic content on these, I have not had any issue with any of the clear plastic in these yet. It seems to be high quality stuff that actually holds up. But yeah, it's a really cute parrot, you know, and they've done them in multiple colors. That's the one thing with BeastBOX is a lot of their molds have been recolored many, many times. So if you don't like, the reds and blues here, I think there's a yellow and green one as well. And I think, and like a clear pink one, there's a bunch. Quite a few of these have quite a lot of color schemes to them. So you got plenty of options, There's also an owl. Now, here's the thing. Even though it's two birds that are very similar, these two do not transform anything alike. This one actually has some weird inside-out engineering that's kind of cool. And that's one reason why I wanted the owl and the parrot. Because I like the bird look. I don't know why I like the bird look for these. I just do. But they are very similar looking birds that transform and work very differently. So again, working inside the limitations of that cube, and they didn't just repeat themselves. They could have, but they went with something different, and it's a cool figure as well. I also have the moth, and the moth is interesting because, again, it's a different way of things working. Everything just kind of unfolds into the wings from the box mode. So it's not as overly complicated, but it's interesting to see the box kind of like unfurl itself into the moth. It's a cool visual is what it is. Getting into some of my favorite animals here, we get into a rhino beetle. The cool thing about the rhino beetle is, well, there's a few cool things about the rhino beetle. I mean, for starters, it has weapon accessories you can plug on. Every now and then they sneak actual like weaponry into these things. But what I think is neat about these is the fact that you can actually close the back up. You can close up the wings and the shell, so the beetle can just be like as if it was walking. But all the guts and engineering is there to open it up to make it look like it's in flight. And all of this still fits in a 2x2x2 cube. Again, really impressive engineering. Also, I really like it how a lot of these like Asian toys that end up doing Kabuto beetles and stag beetles always make the Kabuto red and the stag blue. Sometimes, very rarely differentiates, but for some reason it's always those colors. And I don't know why, but I kind of appreciate it. Here's another one I remember the name of, Jetsam. And yeah, it's a sea turtle. You're not going to be surprised. Like, I really, really like turtles. So, of course, I'm going to get the turtle transformer. We don't have enough turtle transformers in general. I got Snapper. I got Terragator. That's about it. Snaptrap. He's a mutant turtle. So, yeah, I'm happy anytime I get something like this. And again, cool figure. The dragon is neat. Because it's so, like... It's so weird, right? To actually get a serpentine shape out of a cube. And granted, they could have just like folded it up into like, they just kind of like fold the lengths of it up into a box shape. But you can see from the cube, it actually does have some elements of splitting and transforming to it. It's not that simple. It's actually one of the more difficult ones for me to remember how to put back into the cube. And then we get into one of my favorites. And this should come as no surprise. Reaper. Yeah, praying mantis. Very easy to get me with. I have the, there's a remold of this to, oh, I can never remember what the exact name of it is. Like, there's a flowery looking mantis, and I can never remember, an orchid mantis, I think. Probably wrong. But no, it's a very flowery design, and and I've got them both. And this is also where I can also point out, look at all of the hinges. Because he's ball jointed at the neck and he's ball jointed at the arms. And I believe the hips are like universal, I think. and he still stands up just fine under his own weight. And all of this is heavily articulated. There's actually quite a bit of articulated play value in these as well, because they do use a lot of ball joints to attach limbs. So, posable. Posable as well. There's an Ankylosaurus, Thrash Hard. Really like this one too. It's got a neat attack mode too, where you can make the tail like fold forward into like a pair of cannons. Yeah, neat one. But this one gets weird too. So now we're going to get into the realm of ones I don't own. We're just going to look at really cool things for a second here so you can see how much variety there is in this toy line. So for instance, this one got retooled into a fake Godzilla. Because when you've got all those spines on the back, of course you would make a fake Godzilla. They even put in an atomic breath effect part. I think that's hysterical. They get tricky sometimes like that. So for instance, look at the squid. Look at the colors on this squid. This thing's gorgeous. I don't own this one. I kind of want this one. This one also has like a special version with extra parts that kind of turn it into like a rocket launch base. It's weird. It's weird. We're going to get into some of like the weird like ideas they come up with. Here's an awesome one. So this is actually from their Mega Box line, where you're getting more involved figures than you do from the standard line. And you can see it, like this tiger is absolutely exquisitely detailed and very complex. You can see that the part count is going to be a lot higher than your standard BeastBOX. I believe this was like a full set of like the sacred beasts, like the Northeast, Southwest. I know they did a dragon, and here's the tiger. I don't know if they did the tortoise and the phoenix. Haven't looked into it in a while, to be honest. If we want something a little bit cuter, axolotl. Look at that! Look at it! Look at how adorable it is. It's so cute. They came in 3 colors too, so again, you get variety. So if you want that cute pink axolotl, you can get it. We're going to get trickier now. So at first glance, okay, weird helicopter. However, those guns on the bottom are extra parts. You can detach those to get legs, and then you can rearrange the wings to get a dragonfly. So it's a dragonfly and a helicopter. We've entered triple changer territory on the BeastBOX. So again, advancing the tech, showing off exactly what they can do, working within the cube's limits. That's fantastic. How about their scorpion? This is another awesome looking one. I believe this is also a Mega Box, because yeah, this one looks pretty intensive as far as part count goes. And look, you get little characters to go with it. Little tiny articulated dudes. As far as I know, these aren't pilots, because I don't see anywhere they could use as a cockpit. It just seems like they are, I don't know, like maintenance guys on the bots, like the guys that work on the Zoids. I'm not entirely sure. How about a good and an evil rabbit? Here's the fun part. They combine into their cube. So you buy one cube, you get 2 paired rabbits, identical, that merge together. Kind of a cute little trick, right? So now we're developing 2 in 1. We've come up with duocons. And we can go further. How about 4 in 1? The meerkats are adorable. You know? I thought this was actually a really cool idea. They've all, you can see how they work too. It's like they all form a corner of the cube and then squish together. They also did this for penguins as well, which actually works because penguins huddle up together face first for warmth when they need it. So it actually makes the penguins kind of clump up in cube mode the way they would in real life. It's a very clever trick. Oh, but if we're going for like Transformer tropes, we've seen a triple changer, we've seen a duocon, what about a combiner? The Mega Box line does that too. Here's just one example. So both of the cubes have a construction vehicle mode, and then they combine into this big guy. And they've done several of these, and some of them even have like multiple configurations as well. You get to do a lot with them. Really, really cool tricks. Really, really interesting figures. Oh, but if you want a real combiner, they did a set of canine BeastBOX, all different breeds, and all in the white, black, and red color schemes to make into this guy. I don't know why. I don't know why four dogs can combine into a T-Rex, but it is something they did, and that is kind of awesome. Let's go into a few other surprise things that they've done, because this line does get surprising sometimes. They've done licensed toys. Like, it seemed like almost right out of the gate. Like, they actually put the money down to get a few really cool licenses, like aliens. Look at the Queen Alien. Look how cool this is. And it transforms. It's so neat. There's another one, too. There's a standard size alien as well that actually comes, like, there's a additional part to it you can take off to make a face hugger. Really cool trick. And, of course, if you got Alien, you have to have Predator. So they did Predator as well. They've done Marvel. They actually got the Marvel license for BeastBOX. So they've done Iron Man. They did Hulk here. They did Thanos. Kind of crazy stuff. For a company that seemed to come out of nowhere when BeastBOX dropped, this kind of stuff to see them get done so quickly is kind of amazing. I'm going to throw this one in here too. I don't think it's licensed. I just think it's neat. They did their own Kamen Rider-esque guy. Because you got to work your Tokusatsu heroes in there somewhere. I'm going to show you one more license they did. And to your shock, and mine as well, I don't actually own this one. Even though it's Ninja Turtles. They did all 4 Ninja Turtles, obviously. They all share the same cube sculpt. So they all transform the same way. No surprise there. The surprise is if you have at least 2 of them, they combine into a party wagon. Okay, sure. Okay, so now we're like Darkwing and Dreadwind now. But it's a really neat trick. It's a really cool trick. And I'm actually happy to see that they actually went with like the toy accurate route where all the turtles have their own unique shade of green. Nice little trick whenever they do that. Now I mentioned that 52 Toys is expanding from BeastBOX and keeping in similar veins but doing different things. So here's Infinity Box, where they're doing cubes turning into vehicles, and the vehicles have pairs that they can combine with. So the cube you see on the bottom right can turn into the super futuristic looking F1 car, which looks awesome. But there is another race car it can combine with in order to form a full robot. Also really, really cool. They've also expanded into a line called Beast Drive. Beast Drive is very much in the same vein. It's a vehicle turning into a beast. However, this one you're going to need to remove and re-add parts onto it in order to get it to transform. A little bit disappointing. That is designed as a part former, but it's in a different toy line. It's doing a different thing, and it's trying to replicate the idea of like building a Zoid over and over. So I kind of give it credit for that. There's one aspect to BeastBOX that I didn't mention at any point, so we're going to cover it before we leave, and that is the Cube Gimmick also includes a storage box. You can see by the box there are connection points on top and bottom and connections on the sides, so you can make whole walls of these things that are all firmly connected. I'm not a big fan of them, to be honest with you, because the cubes are extremely tight inside. Typically, these come with a little piece of plastic you're supposed to fold over and put in the back to act as a spring to help get them out. But I don't know, like, that will wear out eventually. And these things, I just feel like they just need to be like I feel like the containers just need to be just like a little bit bigger. I think that's the only thing that's wrong with them. They're just too tight. Also, the lion, really cool as well. Before we get out of here, I should also mention that if any of these look familiar to Transformer fans, it's most likely because when Botcon went independent of Hasbro, they went to 52 Toys to get transforming figures for an exclusive box set. Because the real reason for Botcon's existence in its last few years was to sell overpriced repaints in giant box sets. So they did so here too. And boy, did it flop, just like a lot of their later box sets. You can get this for like 50% off most places that still have it. And yeah, I can see what you're doing there, holding on to your past glory. I see a Shattered Glass Soundwave when I see one. It's cute because it's a kangaroo with a Joey. I get it. Little Ravage. I get it. You know, it's part of the history of the line. And that is pretty much BeastBOX in a nutshell. You know, it's a really fun line. It's interesting to see how much they can make come out of that cube and how many more ideas they keep coming up with. I'm wondering what animals they haven't done yet, because it seems like they've run the gambit of some of the most popular ones. I guess there's always a dinosaur left that they haven't done. But that's the look at BeastBOX. Another alternative to Transformers, and a pretty good one. Though, admittedly, if you really value the vehicle modes and their variety, I could see where owning a bunch of plastic cubes is probably going to get dull at some point. But, you know, for one or two of them at least, I think they're worth a pickup. So, that's it for me today. Hope that answered the request well enough. And as always, I will see you next time.